Emmerdale viewers were in shock tonight as two major characters were killed off. Lawrence and Chrissie White met their tragic end this evening after Lachlan lunged for the wheel and smashed their car into an oncoming lorry. While his grandfather, played by John Bowe, was killed after being flung out of the vehicle and onto the ground, Chrissie suffered a much slower and painful death. A terrified Chrissie, Louise Marwood, regained consciousness in her seat, hair matted with blood, while her sister Rebecca failed to wake up in the back. She and Lachlan ended up having a heartbreaking conversation before she eventually ended up dying. Robert had also driven to help them, horrified at the sight of the mangled car. After calling an ambulance, Rebecca and Lachlan were rushed to hospital. Could Rebecca also die after Lachlan's shocking actions? The Whites had been speeding after Robert after he had tried to do a runner with his son Seb. However, as all this was going on, Lachlan had a psychotic breakdown in the front seat. He found out that his mum had been the one to interfere in his relationship with Belle and get her to break up with him so that he would go to Australia with them. Lachlan was left devastated after the breakup, and finding out that his mum was the one behind it tipped him over the edge. As they drove along, Lachlan told the shocked Chrissie that he knew the truth, prompting her to insist that she did it for his own good. Slipping his phone to the side of the car, which was recording their conversation on Jerry's voicemail, he brought up one of his childhood memories. "Do you remember when I used to get freaked out by the shadows at night?" he asked her. "And you'd come into my room and sing all those weird songs that you'd made up?" He then began to recite the song, which Chrissie was shocked he had remembered the song word by word. Lachlan tearfully said that he didn't think anyone could love him, but Belle did, adding, "You just couldn't let me be happy, could you?" The psychopath then chillingly referred to his mother as the monster he needed to disappear. "Sleep tight now because Mummy is here," he recited, "to make all the monsters disappear. But it was you, you were the monster, you always were." Chrissie was horrified by his words as Lawrence insisted that if he and Belle were supposed to be together they would be, and she would visit him in Australia. Lachlan said with a dead-eyed stare, "I'm sorry Grandad, but we're not going to Australia." He then stared at his mum. "Make all the monsters disappear." Screaming, he lunged for the wheel and turned it as Lawrence pulled off his seatbelt to stop him. But it was too late as the car veered into the path of a lorry, which smashed the vehicle up as it rolled off the road. Robert stopped his car as he turned back in horror. Who has died? Emmerdale continues at 8 p.m. on ITV.